way back to the Asian thing. We've all made Asian jokes. Am I incorrect?
No.
Nope.
You guys never made Asian jokes?
I have, yeah.
No, you're not incorrect.
you're-
I'm not incorrect. And I've never thought anything about it. We all know for the most part, I don't agree with this, but you don't make fun of the black community. You don't say racial slurs to them. Mm-hmm. That's like the general thing, right? I have my own views, but that's like the main thing, especially if you're white. You don't make fun of black people, and you don't say certain things where everyone else is free game. And it's because of the history, and it's because of the trials and tribulations that the black community still go through. I've never viewed that when I was making Asian jokes. Mm-hmm. And now with this situation, a guy who was clearly racist, they said they didn't find any motive that it was racist, but come on, you go to fucking 3 Asian spas and shoot this shit up. There's a racial, factor to that. Mm-hmm. And I started reflecting back to myself. I was on Trump's bandwagon of, nigga, it is the China virus. Mm-hmm. This shit came from China, right? I forgot. There's a bunch of different viruses that were named after the places they came from. What's wrong with that? But as you said, it's on people to take it how they take it. Mm-hmm. Do we bear a responsibility for, if I was a kid making an Asian joke and that kid who killed those people heard me and somehow thought it was cool to demonize or look at Asian people funny, and that led to him to creating the act? Do we somehow bear responsibility for that?
There's definitely a fine line.
There's a fine line, right?
Yeah, definitely fine line. Now that you mention it, bring in anybody who has, like, anybody with any sort of personal involvement in something, and then hearing somebody right next to them say something insensitive about that involvement that they have. Yeah, you'll be like, damn, I don't like that. And you'll definitely feel some type of way.
But even the person saying it didn't have bad intentions, but someone else took it. This crazy motherfucker. Yeah. He took it and put pain on real people, took people's lives. Is it, we stand some responsibility and we should not make fun of any races, including white people? Mm-hmm. Or is it, nigga, I'm a comedian, right? I want to be a comedian. You've done comedy before. Everyone is free game. If you're dumb enough to commit an act against people, that's on you. Mm-hmm.
I definitely think it's free game. And I also think that when it comes to a guy who killed a bunch of people, that's different. Especially, I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say anything about, like, Martin Luther King getting shot. That's insensitive.
In 100 years, you can.
And George Floyd, in 100 years. I mean, and the George Floyd. I'm not gonna sit here and make fun of George Floyd because I don't want to do that. Because what he dealt with, there's definitely, you got to know your topic. Yeah. Don't be saying ignorant stuff. And the reason why I said in
100 years you can't, because we make fun of people that died all the time. There's a certain couple of years that passed that is not insensitive anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, statute of limitations.
We how much movies do we have of Roman motherfuckers getting their head cut off on the hill and kicking the shit? Like, that's insensitive. That's somebody's mother that got their head cut off. Y'all making fun of this, but go ahead, Lidvack.
I think it comes down to 3 points for me, and I wrote them down. The first is respect. So you have to respect the individual. I think you first have to respect yourself enough to understand what you're going to say, and you've thought about what you were going to say. The next thing is that you have to respect the individual, because the way I was taught, you respect yourself, you respect someone else, and that in turn they respect you. If they don't, then you don't talk to them. That's it. It's as simple as that for me. Then the next is the matter of your opinion. We live in the United States where you're allowed to have your opinion. You can go back and forth with an individual. That's awesome. If you didn't want to have an opinion, you go to North Korea, my favorite country.
That's a bar. This boy should be a stand-up.
And then the next thing is, we've talked about this, is that if you overuse a saying, a slur or something like that, and you say it and it becomes in a multimedia facet of life, you also kind of can't think that people aren't going to say it. Mm-hmm. It's going to come up. But that individual, if they say it, like if I was to start saying the N-word left and right here, like you guys would lose respect for me, number one. And then number two, I show like my, like the evil side of me come out, which isn't like myself. You'd start seeing that my opinion and my respect for you has decreased. Yeah. I would never do that, but individuals do it because it's in multimedia here. So
you think it's cool. But I mean, I'm sure, I don't know if Lincoln had a lot of white people, but I went to high school with a lot of white guys. All of them said the N-word. And yeah, I'm saying I came from Trinidad, so I never thought there was anything wrong with that. I'm like, bro, I'm not as you're probably more African American than me. You know what I mean? I'm from Trinidad. Like, I was not raised on this. You feel me?
Yeah.
So if you can say it, who am I to tell you no? You feel me?
Yeah.
I just came over here yesterday.
In Lincoln High School, where I went from,